Lawson, Tsunoda, or even Colapinto. Red Bull might be just days away from making the most controversial seat change of 2025. Christian Horner says no decisions have been made, but the paddock noise is deafening. From last-place qualifiers to Suzuka speculation, this is a pressure cooker about to explode. Welcome to Paddock Insider, where we dive deep into F1's hottest stories. No sugarcoating, just real talk. Hit that like, subscribe, and let's break down why Red Bull might be on the edge of making a move they swore they wouldn't. This was supposed to be Liam Lawson's breakout season, but after just 3 races, his place on the Red Bull team is already in question, and it's not just media hype. According to Sky Sports, Red Bull is genuinely considering swapping Lawson for Yuki Tsunoda before the Japanese Grand Prix. That's just 2 weeks away. Let's be blunt. Lawson has qualified dead last twice, something no Red Bull driver has done before. His best race result? 12th, boosted only by disqualifications. His body language? Shaky, and Red Bull's expectations? Ruthless. Christian Horner acknowledged after Shanghai, "We have to go through all the data. It's been tough for Liam, he's under a lot of pressure, and he knows it." Red Bull isn't denying the rumors. They're feeding them with careful political answers. And when that happens in this team, it usually means something's already brewing behind the scenes. So if Lawson's out, is Tsunoda really the answer? Let's look closer. Yuki Tsunoda's start to 2025 has been quietly impressive, but more importantly, it's been consistent. And for once, he's not shouting on the radio or spinning into gravel traps. Helmut Marko said it best. He's in the shape of his life. Here's why Tsunoda's stock is rising fast. He's matched or beaten his Racing Bulls teammate every weekend. He's matured off track, even switching management to focus more on performance. His feedback and setup work have been praised internally. And crucially, he's got a Red Bull test under his belt, which Horner called very useful. Still, there's risk. Swapping him into the RB21 before his home race in Japan is a bold move. Expectations will be sky high. The pressure, immense. And remember, the second Red Bull seat has eaten alive drivers more experienced than Yuki. Even Verstappen admitted the main car is far tougher to handle. When I talked to Liam, the Racing Bulls car is definitely easier to drive than ours. So if the car's that hard to tame, maybe the issue isn't Lawson or Tsunoda. Maybe it's the machine. There's a reason why no one, literally no one, has thrived in Red Bull's second seat since Ricciardo left. Gasly, Albon, Perez, now Lawson, all fast, all failed. Why? Because the car is engineered around Max Verstappen's style. Super sharp front end, loose rear, extreme rotation, no margin for hesitation. Alex Albon once said driving it felt like using a gaming mouse with sensitivity turned to 100%, constantly on edge. This is by design. Max makes it work, and he's won 4 titles doing it. But unless a driver can adapt instantly, they're toast. So if neither Lawson nor Tsunoda fits that mold, who else is even on Red Bull's radar? According to Spanish media, Franco Colapinto is being quietly considered for a potential Racing Bull seat if the Red Bull Tsunoda-Lawson shuffle goes down. Why is his name suddenly in play? His management is pushing hard, especially with Alpine options looking delayed. Helmut Marko was spotted inside Alpine's hospitality in China, fueling even more rumors. Colapinto has the talent, and if Red Bull needs to shift Lawson out of the spotlight without burning him, Racing Bulls is the safest landing pad. It's a complex situation. Red Bull might keep Lawson but move him down. Tsunoda steps up, and Colapinto enters the F1 grid at Racing Bulls. But there's more to this, because timing is everything, and Red Bull is almost out of it. Verstappen is already frustrated. He's heading to the factory this week to push for immediate upgrades to the RB21, because the car isn't dominating anymore. Meanwhile, Red Bull's second seat is in total chaos, and with Suzuka approaching fast, decisions must be made. Now, do they keep Lawson and hope for a miracle turnaround, promote Tsunoda and risk burning him, or play it safe and delay everything, but risk losing points? It's a lose-lose scenario unless someone over-delivers now. So let's step back and look at the big picture for a second. This isn't just about Lawson, Tsunoda, or Colapinto. This is about a seat that has chewed up and spat out some of the most promising drivers of the last decade. And we're watching Red Bull, again, walk the tightrope between performance and pressure. It's like a repeating cycle. A promising young driver is given the opportunity of a lifetime, only to be placed next to one of the most dominant forces Formula One has ever seen. No learning curve, no margin for error, just instant comparisons to Max Verstappen. And let's be honest, that's not fair to anyone. But at the same time, this is Red Bull. They've built a reputation on ruthless efficiency, quick calls, and results-first thinking. If you can't deliver, you don't stay. And maybe that's what keeps them at the front. It raises a deeper question. Can any driver truly thrive in that second seat as long as the car is so fundamentally built around Max? Or is Red Bull's biggest strength Verstappen's brilliance, also its biggest limitation? And let's not forget how much this matters for the championship. With Ferrari, McLaren, and even Mercedes slowly creeping back into contention, Red Bull can't afford to carry dead weight on the second car, no matter how talented the driver may be long-term. This is what makes F1 so brutal and so compelling, because behind every race result is a political game, a performance metric, and a human being under pressure. So what would you do? Do you stay loyal to Lawson and give him the time and support to adapt? Or do you seize the opportunity to promote a Tsunoda who's peaking at the right time, even if it's risky? Or maybe you take the wild card, Colapinto or Doohan, and make a bold long-term bet. One thing's for sure, these next 2 or 3 races aren't just important. They might define the next era of Red Bull racing. Let's keep this discussion going. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to know what real fans think. And hey, if you appreciate this kind of analysis, not just headlines, but deep dives into what's really going on in F1, then this is the place for you. Hit that like, subscribe to Paddock Insider, and tap the bell so you're the first to know what's really happening behind the scenes. Because in Formula One, it's never just about who finishes first, it's about why and what comes next. And while Red Bull's internal pressure might dominate the headlines, across the garage, McLaren is facing a very different, but just as fascinating, kind of tension. Because when your biggest rival is sitting in the garage next to you, driving the same car under the same banner, that's when Formula One gets real. Norris versus Piastri, teammates or title rivals? Let's not sugarcoat it. This is now a title fight inside McLaren. 2 drivers, same car, same team, and only 10 points between them. Piastri's win in China wasn't just clean, it was dominant. He led from pole, managed the pace, and never looked rattled. It was his second career win, and his biggest statement yet. I'm not here to be the number 2. But Norris is still in front in the standings. Thanks to his brilliance in Melbourne, he knows the pressure is coming, and he's not hiding from it. In his words, we're free to race. We both want to win. That's inevitable. And let's be honest, this is exactly what we, the fans, want to see. No team orders, no corporate scripts, just 2 elite drivers going at it, with full trust from the pit wall. McLaren's philosophy is simple. Let them race, but never at the cost of the team. It's risky, but it's real racing. And that's why McLaren right now is winning not just on track, but in the hearts of fans. The hidden battle, driving styles and margins. Here's where it gets fascinating. What made the difference in China wasn't strategy, it wasn't luck, it was driving style. Norris hates understeer. The McLaren in Shanghai, super understeery. He said it himself. I just can't drive a car with no front. I can, but I struggle. I can't maximize the package that way. Piastri, on the other hand, adapted. He found the balance. He studied what worked, and he executed. This isn't about who's faster, it's about who's more complete and who can adapt weekend after weekend, no matter the track, the conditions, or the setup quirks. And honestly, that's what wins championships. McLaren team boss Andrea Stella nailed it. When you merge the strengths of both drivers, you elevate the entire team. But let's be real, They're not just learning from each other, they're watching each other closely, every session, every lap, and that dynamic is only going to get more intense. Can McLaren keep the peace? We've seen this story before, haven't we? Senna versus Prost, Hamilton versus Alonso, Hamilton versus Rosberg. It always starts with mutual respect. But when wins turn into world titles, the gloves come off. Right now, Norris and Piastri are playing the game right. They're smart, professional, focused on the team. But as the tension builds, as the stakes rise, as one starts to outscore the other consistently, will McLaren's let them race approach survive? Stella believes it can. We're lucky to have Lando and Oscar. Internal competition, when handled well, elevates everyone. And maybe he's right. Maybe McLaren is building something special, not just in performance, but in culture. But let's not kid ourselves. This is Formula One, and history tells us that when a championship is on the line, even the best relationships get tested. Could 2025 give us the next great intra-team rivalry? Because if it does, it's going to be fireworks. Final thoughts, and a question for you. What McLaren is doing this year is more than just impressive, it's rare. They've built a car that wins. They've got two drivers who can take it to the front, and they're letting them go for it. No scripts, no fake harmony, just real, raw competition. This is what Formula One should be. But we want to know what you think. Can Norris and Piastri stay respectful? Or will this turn into open war by mid-season? Is McLaren's philosophy sustainable? Or are they headed for a Senna-Prost-style implosion? And who do you think will come out on top? Let's hear it in the comments. Your opinion is what fuels this community. And if you've been enjoying these breakdowns, if you're here for the real F1 talk, hit that like, subscribe to Paddock Insider, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because this championship is just getting started. And if Norris versus Piastri turns into the next great F1 rivalry, you'll want a front row seat. Thanks for sticking with us. See you next race weekend.